Hi everybody, this is Tesa, and she's going to show us the watercolor art impressions, what is it called? Watercolor art impressions stamp. So how to make it look like watercolor without watercoloring. So what she's doing here is
just coloring on the stamp with the marker. Any water-based markers will work.
Yeah.
I used a gray, and now I'm going to just put a little, you can blend your colors on your stamp too, so I'm just put a little bit of blue in here for fun.
And that's just Canson watercolor, regular cardstock.
Yes.
And I think we discovered that, now see if you notice, there's little bits here that are open, and you'll see why. It's like, oh, she didn't stamp that pale all the way, but she did. So what she just did there was, sorry.
Dipping my water in the brush, but you don't want it wet, so I'm just pinching off the excess water because you don't want it too wet.
Yep.
And now I'm just going to pull some of the color out of the lines here. And you want to leave a little bit of, leave some white space for your shading and stuff like that.
Okay.
And you don't want to just blend over the whole thing like that. You want to do your little sections just to keep the definition there. You can do a little bit of the handle, and then you can maybe do a little shading under the handle. And
that's looking great.
Tiny
bit more water, yeah.
And you can go back in after with your palette here. You can scribble a little bit of marker on your palette if you're wanting to add a little bit more color into your...
So that palette's just a piece of, it's from Art Impressions, and it's sort of a, it's not like a regular piece of plastic, kind of, because it's got a little bit more texture to it.
Yeah, it really picks the color up off the markers.
It pulls the color off the brush.
So I'm just gonna put a little bit of more color in here just for... And that's basically all you need to do for that.
Okay.
So now we're going to add some foliage into our bucket. So I've just got a little foliage stamp here. You can, you can do with just a few stamps, you can create a lot of different little things. So I'm just putting a little green randomly on there.
So I'll show you, this is sort of what the packaging will look like, that sort of thing. And they've got, it doesn't look like much in the package. When you flip it over, sometimes I'm like, holy darn it, they don't have a lot in there, but it's still labor intensive for them to make those small little stamps, some of these are really tiny.
Okay, and I'm just going to grab just a piece of scrap paper or sticky note or whatever just to make a little temporary mask. So I'm going to put that at the bottom of the lip of my bucket. Okay. And I've got my flower stamp colored up here with my markers, and I'm not just going to stamp him once. I'm going to stamp him a few times so that you can build up your color, do different colors, saturation or what have you. So go there, maybe put one up there, and just a little one right there.
Okay.
So that's looking pretty good. I think I'm going to add just a few more of those guys in there though. So, and you don't have to be totally perfect when you're coloring your stamps. It's pretty random. And then we'll go back in here and maybe put a little one there.
So by having the multiple stamping, you're getting the dimension, right?
Yes, it's not just the flat image. You're getting the different tones, so you see it's sort of your shading.
It looks as if the darkest ones would be the closest to you. Is that?
Yes, and the other ones would look like they're a little bit further away. But it's just like in nature, right? Everything's got its different tones and shades. So now I just wetting my brush again, I pinched it off so you don't want too much water. And I am just tapping onto the area where the little flowers would be. But you don't want to be tapping where your stems are because you don't want to lose your detail there. So I'm just tapping here. And you can actually go, put a few little dots outside of where your stamped images are too. And it just makes it look a little bit more natural.
That looks great. Now,
thanks.
You're welcome. I've always looked at that and thought, oh wow, how do they do that? That's way above me, because I'm not a super confident stamper. If I can't put it in my stamp positioner, I just
Oh no, this
Forget
is
about
stuff
it.
is very forgiving, and with what you're doing with it, it just, because it's watercolor, right? So it's just got that loose.
supposed to have that whimsy kind of look.
Yes. So now I've got a couple of little, the little viney stamps here, these here.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to use this to start filling in the foliage.
Okay. So again, the mask.
Yep. And then there's one, because we've got one facing right and one facing left, which is just kind of handy for filling in your areas. So, and once again, I'm going to stamp it more than once, because you want your different little
Depth. Yeah.
colors of, or tones. Whoops. Okay. I made a mistake there because I don't want to use that one anymore. I want to use the other one that faces the other way.
That's good.
So we'll just wipe her off.
And AI has these really tiny cube little blocks, because I think that does, it's one of those times where you don't want to use a huge block.
No, and then also you don't have to use this entire stamp either. If I just want a little short bit of ivy, you just color the little top part of it. Like, they're very versatile stamps. They don't have to be used just as they look. So once again, giving him a few little stamping. And I just need a little more in the center there. So I'm just coloring the top half of this guy because I just want to fill that little spot in right there.
Gotcha.
So that's pretty good. Actually, maybe I'm just going to put one more so he comes out that side just for fun.
And that just comes with just playing with it a little bit.
Yep, you just like flower arranging. And I'm going to stamp him off because I don't want a really dark one there. So I'm going to take the first impression off and then I'm going to stamp him in there. Very pale, but just
nice.
A little more. And then get back to your water. So dipping it in, pinching it off, kind of wipe it on your paper towel, pinch the water off so you don't have too much. And I'm just going to go back into my little ivy leaves and just dabbing the water on them again. And you know, you're picking up extra color so you can go and add, you know, little bits somewhere else if you want to. Dabbing, dabbing. And even if you put, you know, a few little spots onto your little pot or whatever containers in, it looks like the shadows and stuff, right? It just makes it all look very natural. Okay, so that's that. So pretty good. Like, once again, like I said, you can build it out, do all sorts of stuff, but we'll just stop there.
And I mean, right now we're looking at it upside down, but when we're all done, we'll flip it around.
We'll have a quick peek. There you go.
We can have a quick peek.
Look at that.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Now we're going to ground him. There's different ways you could do this, but I'm just going to add some grass. There's this really cute little grass stamp. And as you can see on this bucket, they've already left a little space so you can stamp your little grass or whatever in the front there. So, but even without it, you can still do some blending.
They've done some of the thinking then for you because they know what it's going to look like.
So, and same with the the flowers, you want to stamp a few times to get your different, I know there's a word, but for, your different tones or colors or depth. Yeah,
I think it's depth.
And then these little sticky notes are very handy with these. And you don't have to be, I don't have to be cutting out a bucket shape to mask. I'm just going to put your sticky note randomly on there. And because I want my grass to kind of be some of it coming out from behind the thing there. See? So that looks like it's...
Oh, that's awesome.
Right? And then I could do that again on the other side.
Now, to me, that looks great already, but are you going to go back in now and wet it with a brush?
The grass. Yeah, I will do the blending. And there's a little technique when you're doing that. It's not so much dabbing. You want to kind of flick to get your little blades. But same thing, pinch your water off, and you're just going to flick.
I'm going to zoom right in on that. Because I think some I've seen... you couldn't really tell that it was grass anymore.
Well, yeah, it just depends on how much you water or wash it out or whatever. But yeah, if you just kind of want a little bit of your detail in there, you don't want to add too much water.
So that's pretty much a dryish brush, almost. Like it's moist, but not...
Yes, you don't want it dripping. And then I'm just going to add, I just scribbled a little bit of green onto the palette here because I'm just going to add a little bit more. We'll just get some water in there. I am just going to just add a little bit more ground here and just randomly just scribbling it in there. And
Okay. That
there you
looks
go.
good. That's awesome. Wow. That is really beautiful. And that didn't take very long at all.
No, they don't take long at all. That's the cool thing.
But they're a little addictive.
little bit, yeah.
Can you just show us a few from your collection there that we've got off to the side?
Well,
Because there may be
let's
just
see.
like a lot. So just plop
This
them
is
one
my
on top of the
absolute
other.
favorite. I love him. The little bunny.
Oh,
that's
he's
they got
so
such cute little critters you can tuck in here and there. There's the
Pop
milk
another one on
can.
top. Yeah.
There's the truck. He's done only in sepia. He's kind
Oh,
of
that's
cool.
gorgeous. Nice for a masculine card. Always tough to find.
There's the bucket
good stuff.
again. The milk can. Oh yeah, person you just get started and you don't want to stop. There we go. And then I did different markers too, if you want to see. These were the what are they called? Zigs.
So these are the Zig Clean Color
Zig
markers.
Clean Color markers, yes.
And just to give you an idea, I've never seen these markers. They're, I'll just open it up here. They're actually a brush. They're not a nib, right? So you can see that they kind of spread. And, oh, so I've made it very beautiful.
Oh, that's pretty.
Pretty, yeah. But they're,
Very pretty,
yeah.
yeah.
So anyway, it's really nice for the manicure that's not existed. Okay, so that's the Zig Clean Color. I know a lot of the videos they have that you have to have like their markers but Tesa doesn't have a shortage of markers here, just to let you know. These are mine.
The
I've got a
distress,
small
that was
marker
Tim's
problem.
distress markers.
Okay, so nothing wrong with that.
Nope. And then even to go to the good old Crayolas.
Have you all heard about the Crayolas? They're fantastic.
Yep.
Visit your local Walmart for those. And thanks, Tesa, for a great, all the people that came out today and for being our guest artist this week. Yay!
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, bye.
Bye.